Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. It's a Cheltenham update video and it is my day one final selections. The day one entries and declarations have finally come through on this Sunday morning. I'm absolutely buzzed to see them out, and obviously it just shows you how close to the festival we are. So therefore I'm going to be doing, as I say, 4 final selection videos of day 1 to 4 with the actual entries, so that we can finally have a grasp on who's actually going to run, instead of me just giving out, like the previous video where you're giving out more anti-post selections, I suppose, but obviously some of them have fallen by the wayside, especially in the Arkle. So I'll be doing one for obviously day 1 today on the Sunday, day 2 tomorrow on Monday, day 3 probably after racing on Tuesday, and day 4 after racing on Wednesday. So probably for the last 2, you might even get update videos on how the first 2 days went. Anyway, let's crack straight into it in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Most of these, that I'm sticking with, I've already made the case for, so I'm going to keep it short and simple. And I am delighted. Trust me, I'm absolutely delighted that Classical Dream is running in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. He's now been trimmed into 5 to 1 because of it. Ruby Walsh on board. I don't think that was too much of a surprise. I think Walsh was going to ride him no matter where he went. I think it's a tip in itself, though, that he's running in this race. I suspect they probably think this is a lighter race than the Ballymore, which it is. Like, it's not a very good race, I don't think. I think he's the complete fly in the ointment here. I just have my worries about some of the rest of them. Al Dancer, I think, is a bit keen. Like, all these horses have their chance in the book. I can't get behind this Angel's Breath at all. I don't know how you can get beaten like he did at Kempton and people are still backing him. But obviously he could tear away. But I think Classical Dream, he's battle hardened. He's already got actually a lot of form in the book because of all the runs he had over in France. So I think he's got a very good chance. He's obviously down to 5 to 1. When I put him up in the first day video around a month ago, 3 weeks ago, he was around 10, 12 to 1. So hopefully a few of you got on at those sort of prices. I do have 2 each way pokes in this race. It's Cheltenham. We're allowed to have 2 or 3 horses a race if that's your fancy. If you just want one, you just want one. But if I was to advise you at bigger prices, I think Aramon, who's very closely tied in with Classical Dream on his form at Leopardstown at 12 to 1, is not a bad each way nibble. I can see him running on into a place. I think he's vulnerable win-wise, but a strongly run Supreme will suit him. Probably his best ever performance was over Christmas at Leopardstown, and they went a mad gallop that day. I think that will suit him down to the end. And obviously Paul Townend on board is no back number. And Thomas Darby at 20 to 1 for Ollie Murphy. Richard Johnson booked. 3rd to Mr. Fisher at Kempton. I don't think that was really his running, to be honest. Won a Mickey Mouse race last time out. But I think we'll come here nice and prepped. You wouldn't want the ground to get too soft for him. But again, like Aramon, I think he could benefit from a strong pace to aim at and come late. The Arkle, I really have no say. And it's more so because I just don't like... I just can't get behind some of these horses at the top of the market. I don't know how you can be backing Lola or Layla, whatever you want to call him, after that run at Sandown, and he's coming here fresh. He looks a bit of a needy horse as well. Things have to fall the right way. I don't think things will as well. Glen Forza probably is the one of the ones at the top of the market I'd be most intrigued by, but couldn't go near him now at the price he is. He's 10 to 3, 3 to 1. So again, it's a few each way pokes, to be honest, and it's on Duke de Geneva at 7 to 1. I really liked Silas Emery for this race. Obviously, in my initial video, I had Larichberg and Silas Emery. Both of them are gone. I really liked Silas Emery, though. Duke de Geneva has form that ties in with him, and then won at Gorn last time out pretty well. He's at 7s. And Knocknanoose at 14 to 1. Good form behind Master Dino at Plumpton. Fell up to 2nd at Leopardstown. That can happen. And Gary Moore's very good with these 2-mile chases. He's likely to bowl along out in front. Hopefully, Torchwood jump well and might be able to fend off or get a lot of them off the bridle in behind. The Ultima, I think I've only one of my original selections still in here, and that's Single Farm Payment at 14 to 1, who I still think is an alright each way bet. I think he's obviously going to be played late, but hopefully will come up the hill running. I think in this race, though, a lot of people are obviously on Give Me a Copper. I think Mr. Whitaker at 9 to 1's more the price for me. Give Me a Copper is very short at this stage for a race of this nature. He won the Close Brothers last year, reunited with Brian Hughes here. And I think he's been asking for this step up to 3 miles. Seems to be feasibly weighted on his best form, and I think can go close. And if you just want another one at 14s, if you're not fancying single farm payment, I think Jesse Harrington's Magic Light has a sniff here. Unseated in the Bobby Joe last time out, but was backed off the boards that day to indicate that she was expected to win or expected to go very close in a race of that nature. She doesn't seem to be badly handicapped. Seems to be a lot to like about her, to be honest. She's been an upwardly progressive mare this year. The Champion Hurdle, Lorena, I'm still siding with. She's at 4-1 now, so you know it seems one of the three. I'm looking at it from an each way perspective. 10 runners, only 3 places. If the 3 top ones run to form, I think they'll finish in the top 3. If they don't, though, I would spare a thought for Espoir Dallin. You know how much I like him. He's 16-1. I think he could run a big race. Now, running a big race might be finishing 5th, but I think he'll run a big race. The Mare's Hurdle, 2-4, have to be on Benny the Jew here. I'm sorry, it's not a great opinion, but obviously when I put it up last time out, she was actually at a backable price. She was at around 5-2. When the original video came out, because people, I think, still thought that Mullins or Elliott would call a cab U-turn and run in this. But she's now 4-5. I can see her staying similar enough to that. Depends what happens with the other Mullins runners. If Classical Dreams won the Supreme, if Lorena's won the Champion Hurdle, she'll go off near enough to 1-2, I reckon. I think she could be backed off the boards. It's interesting. Paul Townend's on Stormy Ireland, which I know some people were getting a bit giddy about Limini, but Limini has burnt my fingers a few too many times. She doesn't really want to win races, does she? So I feel she could run all right, but I don't think she can win. This horse, I think, is just far too good for them. You'd like to hope anyway, touch wood. And Mia Storm, again, another one that's contracted in price. Some of these have, obviously, because now this is their target, and we know it's their target. Well, 16-1 originally, now it's down to 10-1. I think she's got a good each-way chance still. The Close Brothers 2 mile 4. I've started a gamble here on riders on the Storm. I put him up at like 16s, and he's now 7-1. Brian Hughes booked. It looked like Brian Cooper was going to be booked, but then he wasn't. And then I was wondering why, but then he's now riding something else that I have a little squeak on. Well, Brian Hughes, great rider. This horse, he's probably been overbacked. 7-1, you could probably still back it, but he is short for what he is. I thought 16-1 was more a good price. Highway 101 still at 10-1, but he's going to have to lug around top weight. I think has a chance, though. He's a great jumper. And Brian Cooper's now on Comino, who I gave a little bit of a shout for in the Grand Annual. Didn't know he was going to run in this instead of the Grand Annual. Probably a better shout because he's a better stayer. 14-1, not a bad each-way proposition, considering most bookies will probably pay 4 or 5 places in the Close Brothers. And the National Hunt Chase, a couple of mine have gone here. Drover's Lane, I think, is going to run the RSA, and Rio Quinto was just hopeless last time out. Up in Ayr, I think, or Musselburgh, one of those places. Therefore, I did say if Ballyward was running in this race, I'd probably back him, and that's probably true. He's 3-1. He is short for what he is, but I think he's more of a stayer than OK Corral. Can't have him at the prices. But I think the main bet in this race is Discorama. I'm not the only one to think this, I don't think, but he's 15-2. That's still a cracking each-way price in my perspective. He's been at 10s, 12s for quite a while. Barry O'Neill, one of the best Irish amateurs out there, and flies under the radar as well because he's not Codd or O'Connor, but he is absolute top of the bus. So I think he's got a big chance, 15-2. All this horse does is stay. Only issue I have with him is he could tip up. Hopefully not, though. If he doesn't tip up, I can't see him out of the first 3, to be honest. Provided he jumps anyway soundly. Anyway, that's my final selections for the day 1 of the Cheltenham Festival for 2019. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel down below. And obviously, give me your opinions on day 1. Who do you think is winning the Champion Hurdle? Who do you think is winning the Supreme? Is Classical Dream now the fly in the ointment now that he's been U-turned back to the Supreme? I'll see you next time for day 2.